Welcome to Unfiltered Summit Sisters.
I'm Gina.
And I'm Julia.
We are two ride-or-die best friends who are paving the path for what true, authentic relationships look like.
We're facing hardships head-on, having real, uncensored conversations, supporting each other's growth, and shining a light on true, raw healing.
We are navigating the world the best we know how,
Having a hell of a time doing it.
laughing every step of the way,
Through the rain
and sunshine.
This is Canyon Culture.
Hello, everybody. Today's episode is just an introduction about me and Julia and what we're doing here. So we kind of wanted to start off with what we're doing, because if you're just listening, you have no idea that we are sitting in some of the most beautiful, scenery. So
Would you look at that?
So hop on over to our YouTube channel and you can see where we are, because every episode we are out. This all started because when Julia moved to Utah from Texas, so much of what brought her here was the nature. And I already love the mountains, love being out in nature, as do you. And so now that you have nature to be into, our days, there was a 4 to 6 week period of time where we lived together. And so as we would have part of our day overwhelmed or just needing to have alone time without the kids, because there's 10 of them between the two of us, we would go for a drive up the canyon, or we'd go be somewhere in nature, because that fuels for us.
Yeah.
And so as we were having these real unfiltered conversations about life and motherhood and parenthood and single mom life and just general or general celebrations, we would have those conversations in the most beautiful places. So as we felt led to start this podcast, we were like, we should bring people here. We need to bring people to the places that we are, because so much of our healing happened because of where we are.
Absolutely.
As well as just the culture that we've developed between the two of us.
Yeah. And I love that our conversations can go from, God, we just need to get out of the house because our children need to make it to 18. And we go out and we end up laughing our butts off. And then, in the very next breath, we're talking about healing and we're crying and we're facing dark, hard things. And then the very next thing is, what are you making for dinner? Like, do you have a recipe for beef short ribs? And then we're talking about, our being single moms and dating again and all that comes with. And
there's just literally nothing off the table. And we felt so led to that this is something we needed to grow. We needed a community, because everybody needed what we call canyon culture.
Yeah.
Canyon culture is just this idea that everybody gets to have a space to be heard, to be seen, to heal, to grow, and feel a place of acceptance and love and all of those things. And so for us, canyon culture, or I guess to me, canyon culture is just having a space for other people to feel what it feels like for us to have those moments as best friends, unfiltered, totally loved, unconditionally loved. And for you to just be you in a place that freaking looks like this. And this is wintertime. So wait till the summertime when we're up in the canyon at our favorite places. We've got places all over the mountains that we love to go to with the most incredible views. And the idea is we're going to take you all with us. Every podcast is going to have a video that you can watch, and we're not doing anything exciting. We're just sitting in our chairs or sitting on the floor. But the views are always going to be on point.
Incredible. It's so soul-filling, and there's a peace that it brings.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, a lot of our growth comes because of God. And that is a huge foundation for both of us, and for us to be in a space where, so I personally feel like I'll sit there and I'll look at the mountains. I'm like, he made this mountain for me.
Yeah.
And so that's part of it too, is just I feel like we've both talked about how much we feel that connection with God up in the mountains. We feel closer to him. We feel like we are able to hear him more. We're able to drop
kind of quite literally closer, because we are
higher to the heavens.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So come join us.
Come
join us in the wilderness, in the canyons, and all the amazing places that we're going to go. Well, okay, so let's move into kind of just telling them a little bit about ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
So go ahead, go first.
Okay.
Tell us about yourself.
I'm Gina.
That's my best friend, y'all.
I am 36. I am a single mom of 4 boys. I have been divorced for 4 years. My kids are the reason I get up some days, and they're the reason that I need to go up the canyon some days.
Amen.
But they are my everything. They are my everything, and I'm so grateful for them. So anyway, I've got 4 boys, which means absolute chaos. I didn't know what it was like to have girls until Julia moved over, and I get to experience girls, and girls are a trip.
Yeah.
But I love having all boys. So my oldest is almost 13, and then I've got a 10-year-old,
Yeah.
an 8-year-old, and a 6-year-old, and my babies have left, and I now have kids
Yeah.
and teenagers, and that's new for me. The teenager bit is new for me. But yeah, those kids are my everything, and I get up and I do all the hard work so that they can have a better life than we had 4 years ago, that they can grow to be great men.
And you do a fantastic job with them. You do such a good job with them, and I love them so freaking much. But holy cow, they eat.
So much food.
They eat. Your 4 eat as much as my 6, easily.
Easy.
Yeah.
It's so much food.
It's so much food. And only one of them is about to be a teenager. Like,
We haven't even hit, like puberty has not been hit. Sports have not been played at the capacity that you really
your
start.
food bill is going to be like a
Atrocious.
second mortgage.
Like I need
when
a
they're all
sugar daddy
teenagers.
just to afford groceries.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, but the thing is that these kids are phenomenal. Something that I love about having you here is just watching my kids love you. Like that's some of my favorite thing is like, well, one of my youngest lost his tooth the other day. And like the first thing he said was, "Can you send this to Mama J?"
Aww.
So our kids call her Mama J, me Mama G. And it's this relationship I think is so important for us, but it's also for our kids.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Back on track.
Yeah. What? Tell us a little bit about what you do for work and some of your interests and hobbies and all your very, very
What's a hobby?
much
I don't
free
know what
time.
that is.
I know.
We both on the same page with that one. Okay, so for work, I've got a couple jobs because single mom life. Okay, so I think it's important to note, like I have a doTERRA team. It's an MLM. It's an essential oil MLM. And that is how we met. And so I have income coming from doTERRA. I work for a civil engineer firm, helping run anything that the boss man doesn't want to do, which means I wear lots of hats, which can I want to be real and honest about it. It's hard. It's super hard. It's kind of like mommying, where you're a cook, you're a therapist, you're a housekeeper, you're an electrician, you're a plumber, right? Like you carry so many hats. That's what it's also like with my job. And so there are a lot of stresses with it. And so the beauty of my job is I do get to make my own hours, which is lovely. There's very rarely something that is on a schedule.
Yeah.
Which is fabulous, but then like I feel like I never get to clock out. So I'm learning that 2 emotions get to coexist. So
Weird.
There's so much stress that comes with my job, but my job also brings so much freedom that makes it so I get to be home with my babies.
Yeah.
And I get to be at anything they need me to be. I rarely have to say no to a school event or if they need a lunch, I get to still go do that. I still get to go take their lunch. I get to go to do things. Now I can't go to like field trips, but I'm still very present, which is a huge thing for me.
I love that your oldest had a basketball game.
Yeah.
And like 15 of us showed up.
Every game. No,
Just
that's
for
the
him.
thing. Every game, I had the majority of your kids, all of my kids.
Yeah.
My parents were there. You came when you could. So I think the minimum he ever had at one game was 10. Minimum.
I love that so much.
So much. And we all loved it. Like it
Yeah.
was such, like everyone's like, oh my gosh. When basketball's over, everybody was so sad.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I also breed dogs, German short hair pointers, which comes with, again, so much freedom. I get to work from home.
They're so freaking cute. Oh my gosh. Can we hold one on a podcast?
We should bring the puppies to podcasting.
Oh, yes. I'm
We'll bring-
so excited. Okay. This is fabulous.
I know.
I'm sorry. Continue.
So that, I think part of, like, I'm sharing the real of it because I want people to understand, like,
Yeah.
we're real.
Absolutely.
So breeding dogs keeps me home as well. I get to make money by staying home with my kids. My kids get to participate. My kids are a big part of the success of it. I get to grow my own business and learn all of those things, which is amazing. But it's stressful. I have a lot of dogs at my house, and it is kind of chaotic, and it's a lot to, and it is not a glamorous job.
No.
People are like, oh my gosh, you breed dogs. That's amazing. I'm like, do you know how much poop I deal with?
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's not, so it's a high, like all of my jobs have a decent amount of stress. I think most people have stress with jobs.
Yeah.
But my gratitude for my jobs is immense because I'm not working a 9 to 5.
Right.
I get to have my kids, like I get to be with them, like I am a stay-at-home mom. But again, on the flip side, there's a lot of boundaries we have to draw. You can't talk to me right now. I'm working.
Right.
And there's a lot of conflict with that because I'm dealing with stressful work stuff and then I'm getting 1,000 questions.
Right.
But I want to end on a positive note that God has seriously customized these jobs for me. And I couldn't be more grateful. And I just love partnering with God that no matter what, this is the level. Like he is supporting me getting to be with my kids as much as possible.
Yeah.
And he supports me getting to have a job that is customizable for what we need as a single parent home.
Yeah.
And with that, so on to interests, which are minimal. You were weightlifting and you had been for years.
Yeah.
And then I had a girl I went to high school with. I'd known her since junior high, who was a coach out here in Utah for powerlifting. And so I started just exploring. I was like, well, maybe I'll try that. Like, let me see what that's like. And that has become like a necessity in my life now. Yeah. And like, there's so many things you're like, now you get it. Now you get it. So I have a gym in my garage and I train 4 days a week and I love it. And it's like therapy. It helps me exert energy that I need to, like, as I'm processing emotions, it helps remove that. The anger, oh my gosh, what it does for my anger is incredible.
Yeah.
And then I have this side effect of a smoking hot body.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
I was telling one of your girls yesterday, we were talking about working out, and I was like, there was a day where I was putting my hair up after a shower, and I was like, what are these muscles that are happening? Like, that's not why I do it.
No.
And so when I notice my back or I notice my legs or my butt or my biceps, I'm like, where are you coming from, girl? You looking good. And I love it. We're working on abs. And so now I get to have this, it serves me in so many places that I didn't anticipate. And it's something that we share, but we do it independently, which I love. Yeah. As people who have been codependent, that's so important for us. Right. There's not a whole lot of time for outside stuff, but that is on my bucket list, is to go and explore things, date myself, go try things like pottery. I like rock climbing, but that's hard to do with weight training just because that's a lot of using your body. We need to rest at some point, apparently. What? I know. We're learning.
Are you sure about let's fact check that.
It's not going well for either of us, seeing how run down we get.
True.
Anyway, okay. I feel like I've talked long enough. Let's hear about you.
I'm Julia. Apparently I have to tell you that I'm 35 because she told you her age. So I am the much younger sister.
Goodness gracious.
I am a single mom to 6 kids. I have also been divorced for 4 years. My babies are 15, 13, 10, 9, 7, and 5.
I love it.
And they
like fit in between all my kids.
Yeah.
So there's not a matchup, which I like. People always think, oh, our kids match up perfectly. I kind of like that they fit in between because the variety of playmates is kind of infinite because of that. Yeah. There's times where my 12-year-old's playing with your 5-year-old, which I know has nothing to do with, but I'm just saying, like, because no one has one person that they are matched up with, they look at all of the kids as their friends and they can hang out with them.
And they do. They do a really good job of that.
Like I still get like a little bit of a smack in the chest when I walk into a room and 2 kids I didn't expect to be doing something together are doing something together. Yeah. So I walked into the kitchen and Kenzie's got her arms wrapped around Adam. Kenzie's 13, Adam's 8. Yeah. And they're just standing in the kitchen waiting for dinner. Yeah. Just hanging out with each other. And I love that. Yeah. I love that these siblings just adopted each other.
I love it. So we lived in Texas our entire lives. Yeah. Same city, same, like, that's where we've been our entire lives. And God recently moved us to Utah.
Yeah, you did.
There's a whole episode on just the miracles and God's goodness and his faithfulness on how we got here. But now we're here in Utah and we are absolutely loving it. It is beautiful, as you can see.
Yeah.
And we're finally not alone. So we're so grateful to be here. We get to do life together. We live 6 houses apart, you guys.
Yeah.
I can't even put a song on. I
Yeah.
can't finish it before I'm already at her house.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. We get to
Absolutely.
do dinner together.
But I love, like I said earlier, that we both come from codependency. And
Yeah.
because we're both healing so much that like our 6 houses apart, we're not doing every single thing. Like we're
Right.
doing life together in a healthy way is what I
Yeah.
feel like. Okay. So, we talked about your kids. So what do you do for work?
I also have a stream of income from doTERRA that comes.
Holla.
And I teach piano lessons. So I had a full studio in Texas. I moved a bunch of them online. And then I have some new students here in Utah. So
I love that you're teaching some kids from the neighborhood.
I love it.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun for them to so one of the girls will, on her scooter, go by my house to get to your
With
house.
her piano books.
With her piano books. And she goes, I'm going to learn piano from Mama Jane. I'm like, have so much fun. And it's just the cutest.
Yeah,
I
I
love
love
that.
it. I love it. So with my piano takes a lot of hours, and with that, I'm face to face.
Yeah, it's streaming.
And so that is hard because I'm seeing a whole lot of people in a short amount of time. I am super grateful that I'm still able to work from home. So I'm either teaching online or my students are coming to my house. So I don't have to leave.
Yeah.
But that is difficult because I'm face to face and I also have 6 kids in the house.
No, you have 15 children in the house.
It's true.
It's winter, and so her house has the best setup for kids to hang out because of how her basement is.
Yeah.
And so
did y'all hear that? We have a basement. That's new.
they
We don't have those in Texas. That's new.
So between us, we have 10 kids, and then we've adopted a lot of neighborhood kids, which means
Yeah.
they all want to play together. She's got the best setup inside.
Yep.
But that does mean that things get interesting.
Yeah. But I love that
It's passable.
most of the time you and I are working opposite schedules, which means that the kids always have access to an adult.
Absolutely.
And so I'm really
grateful
grateful for that. There's very, very few times where we're both actually working at the same time, which is so good for the kids.
But I mean, literal dream come true.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the things I was like, if we just live near each other, we could, like, while you're working, I could take care of kids stuff.
I love it. And so we usually end up doing at least one dinner at your house and at least one dinner at my house. Okay, let's move on to interests.
Yeah.
Interest. Again, time is really, really limited.
It is.
I enjoy my bed, sleeping.
Sorry.
I also enjoy food. I feel like we experience food
do.
on a different level than most people.
If nothing else, that is what is keeping this friendship together.
So good.
Yeah.
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 Food, guys.
Food.
There is good food in this world. Weightlifting, for sure. I've been weightlifting since October of 2016, consistently.
Yeah.
And that is huge for me. That has what started out as something to only better my health has spilled over into so many different areas of my life.
Mental health, physical health, spiritual health.
Yeah, all of it. Emotional health. Like, I love that I can go in there and just go in there with a plan that I'm going to leave it all on the mats. Whatever it is that I'm facing that day, whether it's sadness or anger, whatever it is, like I'm going to go until it is just out and done. And it feels so good. But it's also, I think one of the biggest things that it's taught me is that when I feel like I can't anymore, you can. There's always more. There's always more inside of you. And so things that I think that I can't do, I know I can do.
Yeah. But I love that our kids are watching us put our health and our mental health and our spiritual health first, because we do all of these things in front of them. We don't, right? So like they're watching us train. They're watching us go, okay, this is training. I've got to do this. And we spend time with God every day, each of us individually, and we do it in front of them. And we go, this is important.
Yeah.
And so I love that. I'm grateful that they have another adult that mirrors a lot of the same, and not that weightlifting is the important thing, but that health is important.
Values.
The values are the same. And so I'm so grateful that you have those values, and my kids get to see, oh, Mama J does the same things too. God is important to her too.
Right.
Training is important to her too. Health
I used to get so frustrated, and this may help some younger moms out there, moms that have younger kids. I used to get so frustrated because I would try to get up before my babies so that I could spend time with God and, have my alone time.
Yeah.
And more often than not, somebody's waking up and interrupting.
It's like they know. They
Yeah.
can smell that you're awake.
It doesn't matter what time.
Nope,
Like, you can
they
move it
know.
earlier, they're going to wake up. Move it, they're still going to wake up. Like,
Yeah.
they know, right?
They just
And
know.
as a young mom, that was really frustrating because I just craved just some alone
minute?
time. Yeah. And then the thought just came to me one day, your babies are waking you up. They're waking up and they are seeing you seek God every morning.
Yeah. I love that.
That's not so bad.
It's not. I think that's important because that was something that I want to be alone when I have my time with God, but at the same time, my kids need to know.
Yeah.
And they need to see it. They need to see that. So, okay. Any other interests? Food and weightlifting. Is that all we got? Is that literally all we have?
I enjoy naps.
Do you know what those are?
I'm not really asleep though. Like mom naps. I'm talking about like
So your eyes
where
are
you close
shut.
your eyes but you can still hear everything going on. Really, just being out in nature, and I can't wait to do more hiking because by the time that we moved here, we got in 1 or 2 hikes before it started getting colder and snowy, and I don't want to hike in this.
It's not. I don't either.
This is
the extent.
This is beautiful. I love this. I don't want to hike in it.
Because we get to look at it.
This stuff is cold.
It's really cold. Okay, so I want to know what is your personal goals with this podcast? Like, what brought you to thinking? Because we separately came together, and one of us was like, we should do a podcast.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I was thinking the same thing.
Which is crazy. And then this was before I had my house, right?
Yeah.
And then got my house. It literally has a podcast room.
That's right. And we were like, it's a sign.
Absolutely.
So tell us, like, what is it when you were thinking about starting a podcast? What is it that was speaking to your heart? What is it that you're wanting out of this for you, for the audience, for the mix of all of it?
That's good. I think the first thing it makes me think of is this saying that I've seen going around that says, one day your story will be someone else's survival guide.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang.
Yeah. And not
That feels intense.
not that I have a checklist, not that I have it perfect, not that I can tell you exactly what to do. But what I can do is share my story and be real and raw. And the things that we've walked through some really hard, dark things. There have been times where I literally did not want to be on this earth anymore.
Yeah.
And the only reason I was because of my babies. And so what I can share is my heart and my soul. What I can share is how I got through those moments. And then on the other side, coming through all of that, on the other side, the healing. Everybody thinks that healing is like this pretty little meme. Like, it is not. Healing is hard and messy and just raw.
It's a lot. It's overwhelming.
It's so much.
Yeah.
And so if one person can benefit from that, it makes me think of you, because I literally would not be here without you.
Same, girl. Same.
Like, I hate.
Like this week alone.
For real.
Like yesterday, all by itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not be here without you. And we've walked through so much together, and it makes me think of women who maybe don't have that, or who feel really alone.
I don't know how women do what we are doing, because we are not the only ones.
Yeah.
And we are not the ones, like, we don't have it, like, we have it pretty dang good.
Right.
And it's still hard.
Yeah.
And I don't know how women do it without any sort of support system. And because I feel like what we have is really special and really unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're being that for them, being this space for them.
Yeah. To share my healing journey, to share, life after walking through all of this darkness, what that looks like now. Being a single mom is freaking hard.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
so hard. But I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But I'm freaking doing it. And God is good, and He's faithful, and I have you, and I have and so I just want to be really, really real about all that. And I want to laugh, and I want to have fun.
Oh my
because
gosh. Laughing, music, and food.
not everything needs to be serious. Not everything needs to be heavy. We've
But
lived
like you
so
said
much
earlier,
of that.
like you said earlier, there's so many of our conversations that we feel all the span of emotions in one conversation.
Yes.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I really love that about us. I love that we talk about recipes for dinner, talk about the really dark stuff we are going through or have gone through, and then jump to That's What She Said jokes.
And then we get tacos.
And then we go get tacos.
I love that. Well, share a little bit about your heart for this podcast.
Having had a relationship for 13 years with domestic abuse and domestic violence, and what it took to get me out, I was like, I feel like I've got this heart to serve in this capacity big.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that looks like. And so there was a day where I was up the canyon. I usually spend my God time up the canyon. And I was sitting on the hood of my car. And this older gentleman comes over. He's like, "Are you an artist?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "You're not drawing the view?" And I was like, "Nope." He's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Journaling, connecting with God." He's like, "Well, what do you do that makes you able to be up here on a Wednesday morning at 9 a.m.? And I was like, "Well, I'm a single mom and my kids are at school, and I have to start my day like this because I have so much down there. I have so many responsibilities down there that need me to be on my top game that I have to start here. I have to spend time with God." He's like, "That's beautiful." And we just kind of chatted back and forth, and I didn't give him a whole lot of information about my abusive marriage. And he just kept saying, he's like, you need to tell your story. You need to write your story. Like, he's like, you need to write a book. You need to write something. You need to tell your story. Now, I'm not a great writer, but just the way that conversation went with how little information I gave him and this message he was giving back to me,
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, I need to share my story. I don't know what that's going to look like."
Yeah.
And then I just feel so led to exactly what you said, be a space for women to find the strength and the faith and the courage to do things that they didn't feel like they could do before.
Absolutely, because there is not a single woman that doesn't have the power that we have.
Everything
but we
that's
didn't
in
realize it.
Yeah, but everything that's in us is in every woman.
Absolutely.
We are all daughters of God.
Yeah.
And so if my story, like you said, if sharing and being vulnerable can help one person, and even if that's just you, even if that's me, and that's something that, as we've discussed what we want to do with the podcast, there's so much healing that happens here. Because that was it. We're like, we should just share what we already are doing.
Right.
And that benefits us. Anyway, so I want there to be a space where people can feel seen and heard and laugh and understand that it's okay and learn about grace and learn about things and just get to feel not alone, because for 13 years I felt so alone.
Yeah.
Less than that, because as soon as you and I connected, I felt a lot less alone, and that got me through some really dark times. There's plenty of times where I echo a lot of the same things. I could not be here without you. Like I said, yesterday alone, I was like, please don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
No disappearing. I need you. But yeah, I just think that getting to be a space, this relationship brings me so much joy, and I would love to share that with the world and share my story, because our stories are victory stories. This is success stories, and we're not done.
Absolutely.
And we are so not done. And I'm so excited to watch where we go, and that it's going to be somewhat recorded, and just see what we're capable of now that we have stepped out of this darkness. Because I don't know, I just feel like we have big things. We have big things for us, and I love that we're taking matters into our own hands.
We both feel like we've been given a second chance at life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which is incredible. And I had a memory pop up that I feel led to share right now. I don't know when this was, long time ago, way before I ever moved here. I told you on a Marco Polo, I said, "I see you speaking to women. I see you."
Oh.
I see you sharing your story and encouraging women and lifting them up. We need to find that Marco Polo.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
I don't know why it made me so emotional. So I'm
It's
absolutely.
powerful.
Our stories are not over.
No. But what we've gone through can help other people. I don't know. It's just this idea of, I just feel like we're so open anyway.
Yeah.
So why not put it in a space?
Okay, so let's tell them a little bit about what they can expect from the podcast.
I'm hoping
let's just go. Let's
pee
just
your
shoot.
pants laughing.
Absolutely.
You've got to keep up with our humor. It's dark. It's dirty. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
And we are going to have, like, you could be crying, and I am not going to hold back with a dirty joke.
Absolutely.
I think we're going to talk about a lot of healing. I think the beginning of the podcast are going to be a lot more serious.
Yeah.
But I also feel like you're going to get to see our personalities come through, and you're going to get to see the amazing dark humor that is here. But I also think we're willing to be raw. We're going to cry. Yeah. We're going to share. We're going to overshare. It's going to be great.
Good food.
I feel like
we need to share that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good food. Being a mom, being a single mom, kids, finances, dating. Holy cow. That's
oh gosh, do we have to?
Let's just keep moving.
Yes, dating, what that looks like.
Our relationships with God, just all of it.
We're not going to do fake.
If there's an elephant, I'm going to tell y'all about it. I will point out that we are going to address the elephant.
Yeah. Yeah. So, to wrap it up, raw, real, authentic, funny, dirty.
Welcome.
And we'll see you guys next week.